Hello, I will be talking to you today about the pros and cons of sexual reproduction, and this is presented by myself, Elsa Tart. The pros or advantages of sexual reproduction are as follows. It produces genetic variation in offspring. The species can adapt to new environments, increasing their survival rate, and it also reduces vulnerability to disease. So I will use zebras as my example for this presentation. Zebras have three distinct species due to their variety of genetics. They have the plains, mountain, and graves. The species can adapt to new environments such as the plains, the mountains, and the graves. The plains are treeless grasslands or the savanna. The mountains and the mountain slopes, open grasslands and woodlands, and then dry areas, hot regions, and grasslands. And it also reduces their vulnerability to diseases. By their stripes, they scare predators like biting flies that also carry disease. How does sexual reproduction, how has it been beneficial? Zebras benefit from sexual reproduction because they live in herds or harems. By traveling in larger groups, they minimize the attack on the herd. They are mammals loyal to their families until it is time for them to migrate to another herd to reproduce. Mares, also known as female zebras, are often loyal to their partner once they have chosen one. Zebras are essential for their environment. The zebra is one of the main sources of food for land animals such as hyenas, lions, leopards, cheetahs, and even some crocodiles. Zebras also improve vegetation and keep insects that can damage other plants and animals from their areas where they live. So, what are some cons or disadvantages of sexual reproduction? It's energy consuming, it's a slow process, they're required to find a mate, and there are also risks involved. Energy consuming, such as zebras, often use facial expressions, ear movements, and sounds to communicate when they're ready to mate. It's a slow process, meaning that the mares or female zebras can be pregnant for as long as 13 months and only carry one foal at a time. They're required to find a mate. Mares will typically leave their herd once they are mature enough to find a mate, putting herself at risk of exposure to predators. How has sexual reproduction been detrimental? The lead male in a herd, which is also called a stallion, is territorial for good reason, but it can cause issues in sexual reproduction. Smaller herds or harems typically have multiple mares ready to mate, while the stallion fights to protect them from their other potential partners. As previously mentioned, mating takes a lot of energy for sexual reproduction. The mares communicate by using facial expressions, ear movements, and sounds to let the male know that she's ready to mate. It can bring unwanted attention to the herd if there are any predators around, or even unwanted competition can be lured her way, which could also cause another fight. When a mare is pregnant, they typically carry one foal at a time, and they can be pregnant for as long as 13 months. So those are the pros and cons that I have chosen to talk about today. Here is a list of my references. Thank you so much for listening.